Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and welcome to a new show. Did a pilot program for this show this afternoon, and I think there was a bit of interest, and we're going to start doing a full-time come on in show on Thursday nights. Gives you guys a chance to get off your chest what you have going on in your life, or potentially the discussions about events within our government. You know, conservative news, liberal, I'm going to talk about. It's completely up. And the way this thing works is I'm not going to have a call-in show because there's plenty of call-in shows. I'm going to put the link right underneath the chat, and you guys are going to, if you want to, grab that link. You just click it. Make sure you have Firefox or Chrome as your primary browser, and you simply hit the link. Already conservative. We got Duke Rawlin here, Dennis Lawson, Darla Tidwell. I saw a few more up top here. California Critic came to see us over here. Propus, yep, he's always pretty much so. Got to get a start out with. And right there should be right about there is the link for the show. And if you want to come in and hang chat, then all you got to do is hit that link. Like I said, Firefox or Chrome needs to be your browser, and then as simple as just clicking a link, and in you will come. We can discuss situations going on right now with our president and this impeachment thing. We can talk about the little hidden details and stuff going on in our government. Pretty much it's your call. Whatever you want to talk about, it's totally up to you. Just make sure you hit that link and join me in here. But I have a few things to discuss while we are waiting for our first guest. But one thing I will note, what covers up my ability to see. So if you hit that link and you do come in, don't think I'm ignoring you. Just give me a second and I'll be checking back on the thing. CLC, you made it. How you doing? I will be back and forth to make sure I can see if there's somebody that wants to join me, and then we'll get cranking up. Let's see. Alex, are they trying to take your show off too? They're always screwing with everybody. Mine, I've actually learned that with YouTube that they have learned how to unsee that. I can be watching in real time. I proof watch all my videos, make sure there's no problems or whatever, and also to reread my chat. And when I do that, sometimes I can be sitting here watching and my view count will be ticking backwards. So that's an interesting trick. Stony Stone's in the house. Welcome. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, as far as them trying to take it, I mean, they take my subs all the time. They take my watch count down. It's across the board. If you're concerned, you pretty much have a red dot on the middle of your forehead. You're just waiting for the shot you never hear that takes you out from a place you didn't know existed. So yeah, it's a conservative attack job, and all we can do is just keep staying in the fight. And that's why I end every program with stay in the fight, because that's exactly what I plan on doing. If they take me off of here, there are other programs, other networks that I can maybe pick up. If they knock me off of the entire platform, then the message is going to get out. I'm not gets intimidated, so they can't send a couple of big goons over here and say they're going to rough me up or something like that and expect me to flinch. It just doesn't happen. For one thing, the bigger they are, the harder. But there's that link under my name right there. If you want to come in the show and you want to talk about what's going on, just hit that link. Make sure you have Firefox or Chrome as your browser, and I'll bring you on in here and we'll have a chat. It's that simple, folks. But that is a common problem. I went from 96 views to 13 on a single video. Hey, that's impressive. That's a lot of never seeing that. It's fascinating, though, if you think about it, that when somebody says, oh my goodness, I can't unsee that. Well, YouTube has figured it out, folks. They know how to unsee that. So it's a magic trick. How can we help? The best help is actually just attending, hitting the like button, telling your friends about me, sharing it out to other platforms when I go live or when I do my walk around videos. Really, I mean, that helps. That keeps us in the public eye, and it keeps them from literally they have to chase us down that way, because all of a sudden our video starts popping up everywhere, so it's harder for them to nail us down and take us down, because other people are, every time you put up in so many different directions, that it's harder for them to keep up. So that's how it helps. But I wanted to start the show out talking about a couple of amendments, specifically because of what's going on in our government right now with the liberal psychopaths trying to take out our president using flat out criminality and usurping the Constitution. Um, you sound like a frog in hyperspace. Deep. Let's see. Well, that would be pigs in space. But the only thing I know is that when frogs swim, they only go knee deep. So it's that radio voice. I got a face for radio, so it's one of those things. I was given a voice but not a face, so you got to use what you got, right? So anyway, I'm about to open up my my first thing here. So if anybody wants to come in, go ahead and hit me up. Hang in Arizona, welcome. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and open up this thing, and then I'll check back on my camera here in just a second. I'll make sure that somebody hasn't jumped in. All right, so let me open this up real quick. I wanted to open up the Fourth Amendment because it applies. Even my flame goes out when I'm on YouTube. That's pretty bad. All right, it says in the Fourth Amendment, it's the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches, seizures, and shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue upon probable cause supported by the oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Now, the reason that is important is because if you think about it, there is, with the president, there is a element of classification with everything that he does. If you're speaking directly to the president and says, "Oh, I had me a sandwich today that was bologna, cheese, and shredded lettuce," then that conversation is deemed appropriate to talk about. It's classified. It's automatically classified because it's a conversation with the president. And with all the spying and all the things going on right now, it's very difficult for him to take care of foreign affairs and domestic issues. Rex, good to see you. Ashley, good to see you too. Anyway, so the reason I bring up the Fourth Amendment is because what's going on right now with this impeachment thing is the House of Representatives, judicial oversight, and all these others are trying to get information without subpoenas. They're calling handwritten letters, so to speak, a subpoena. A subpoena is a subpoena. You can't write in a letter, "This is a subpoena to get you to compel you to testify." It doesn't work that way. So then you have to comply. Not a subpoena, then you just ball it up and throw it in the trash. It's because of that is specifically being skipped by the people in the House, specifically the liberals. They're totally stepping on the Constitution and ignoring the laws to try to take out Trump. And what they're doing is flat out treason and sedition. Both of those are punishable by potential death. And they're doing this going full tilt because we're getting ready to see a document drop. The Pfizer report is getting ready to come out. And when that comes out, there's going to be a lot of a lot of finger pointing. There's going to be a lot of criminality exposed. Scares these people to death because they thought that they were going to be protected forever. They figured Hillary Clinton would win and all of this stuff would be swept under the rug. They'd finish out their 16-year plan. The United States wouldn't exist in another 4.5 years, and everything would be hunky-dory for them. But it didn't work that way. So now they are totally rolling over the Constitution and the law of the land that they themselves write. They write their own laws, and then they ignore them. And part of that is because every time they write a law, they figure out a way to exempt themselves as House and Congress members. The House and Senate, they manage to get themselves written in there so that they are exempt from the law. They're always doing or another. Just came in. If you notice, I've got the if you want to come in and talk to me directly, this is a alternate show. So you just hit that link. You need fire Chrome as your browser in order to hit the link. Once you hit that, you'll be in my area where I'm below my screen. I just hit, and all of a sudden you'll be up right next to me, and we can talk about issues that are concerning to you or whatever. It's a open range kind of show. It's a chance for everybody to part, and definitely don't be shy because I don't have any teeth. It wouldn't hurt much. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, Harry Carey freakouts coming soon. Yes, absolutely. But they're already freaking out. It's obvious they are losing. They're totally ignoring the laws. They're ignoring the Constitution. It's almost like a full-blown attack, minus the projectiles. And it's amazing that they can throw everything away like this. But anyway, so the Fourth Amendment is definitely being ignored because they're not waiting to get warrants to search documents. They're forcing or trying to force the release of information that they're not entitled to. If the president doesn't declare it unclassified, then they have no right to that information. There's executive privilege. Hey, Pete, good to see you. Let me put this link back over here because it goes up in the chat pretty quick. And if you want to join me on here, just make sure you hit that link, and we'll get you in here. And we'll chat about some stuff. Haven't had a smoke in 10 years. That's good for you. I mean, that's good because some people don't smoke and some people do. It doesn't really seem to bother me much. Kevin Moore fan, 33. How you doing? You're a new face or new emoji or a new whatever they call that. Anyway, so if you want to join me, make sure we'll get you in here. Y'all are shy. I know what it is. Anyway, so the second of the amendments I wanted to bring up was the 14th Amendment for a specific reason. It's actually specifically Section 3, and this is interesting. It says no person shall be a senator or representative or elector of a president or vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under the state who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such ability. So they're almost protected under the Constitution for their sedition and treason, because in the Constitution itself, Amendment 14, Section 3, it declares that it takes 2/3 vote of the House and the Senate to move said person from their position for sedition or treason. It's kind of screwy for us because because that malady can continue unabated without any consequence. They don't worry about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I do have a visitor. I want you to welcome California Critic. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
What's on DVP? How you doing?
I am always. What you got on your mind?
Oh, just you talking about the Fourth Amendment. Basically, like you said, it's to protect us from unlawful search and seizure, and that's basically what they're trying to do to the president right now.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fascinating.
Well, it's amazing they don't want to follow the rule of law. They want to talk about laws, but yet they're not following any of them.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to me like the law is relevant in anything that's done by the members of the House at this point. For one thing, they're suppressing the conservatives completely. They're giving them no input and no information. They're doing everything behind closed doors and in secret, and that alone should be a red flag. A decision to impeach the president has to be made by a vote of the House of Representatives. And specifically, that means the entire House of Representatives. But somehow the liberal lefties have decided that means that Nancy Pelosi can make the decision and only the left side of the House can choose the vote and move forward. So they're already screwing that one up.
Right, because she never did that. She just did a press conference and then she was off and running doing her thing. I actually think she doesn't remember that she's supposed to do that because she's kind of already 1 foot in the grave. She's kind of a little bit of a dingbat.
A little bit, yeah. That's a nice way of putting it. But yeah, I think that she's potentially senile, and the reality of that means that it's easier to manipulate her. She's easier to control when her mind is not 100% there. And for one thing, she's an alcoholic, so she's probably drunk most of the time and wakes up unaware of what happened the night before.
Yeah, well, that's most of the Dems. It seems that these sheep are following each other. She doesn't seem like she's aware of what's going on. You talk to anybody that's a Democrat or a liberal, and it's like they don't live in reality.
Yeah, it's astonishing.
It is. The stuff that they're coming out with that are not crimes, that they're alleging are crimes, and whenever something actually is a crime that most of these Democrats have done, they don't want to talk about that. They just want to focus on everything that Trump has done wrong, and they're so focused on keeping people blinded by it's like the old bait and switch. I'm going to tell you, look over here while I'm doing something else. They want people to stay focused on nonsense so much that people aren't, besides conservatives and people that are actually paying attention, they're not seeing what's actually going on. They're so bogged down with negativity and focusing on that people who are not aware are distracted by that and not actually seeing what's going on.
Right. Well, there's a prime example of why the Republicans have not been standing up up until recently. If you notice that, for example, we've got Matt Gaetz is getting more aggressive towards the liberals when they're speaking. The president's language itself has been more aggressive, and some of the other Republicans have been starting to get a little louder. Part of that is because of the removal of the firewalls that the Democrats have had for so long. They've owned the judicial department, and they've owned they still own the media, and they own all the tech companies. So if a Republican were to stand up and say, wait a minute, I am not going to deal with this, then they would absolutely destroy them. They would create a crime with their judges that they had in the judicial system, and they would mow that Republican over and destroy them, their family, and anybody who walked past them that day on the street. So some of that is being removed right now. But I brought up an article about This I just heard about today, but it was two foreign-born Giuliani associates arrested in a campaign finance fraud. So what that tells me is they don't have all of their barriers down, all of their firewalls yet. They're still in a position where they can destroy the conservatives if they try to take them on, and we need to finish taking down the rest of that firewall that they have in place. Belinda's here. Oh, where did she sneak off to?
The thing is that what they're gonna do.
So what's your thought of that, though?
They're trying to silence anybody that opposes them. Conservative voices, a perfect example would be Devin Nunes. Devin Nunes has come out and said tons of things, and what happened to him? He got attacked, and you don't really hear too much from him anymore. But people are tired. Conservatives are tired, and they need to stand up and start speaking out. You guys know, everybody in the chat knows, I'm coming from California. I'm calling from California. This place is a cesspool, and it's the way it is because when one party is allowed to control for too long, there's not a balance. And this state is way upside down. Right now, as we speak, over 800,000 people in California are looking at having their power cut off for anywhere from 3 to 5 days because they want to prevent wildfires. And that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. I believe that there's a nefarious act going on. For one thing that just happened today was the president just revoked a 40-year contract with China for the port in South Los Angeles, not the LAC port, but the one south of that. And basically got threatened by the leadership of California for doing that. And I just have a nasty feeling. We all know that the FISA report's probably going to be coming out between the 16th and the 19th. They're either going to get it on the Friday night drop, or what they're doing with this power outage. I sincerely believe that this is a test, a toe in the water to see how the American people will react when the power is turned off, because they left some kind of event to distract everybody from the FISA release, because that's going to implicate the crimes of many people. There's going to be an awful lot of people with fingers pointed at them, and the only way to like from learning this would be to shut off their ability to communicate, and that means so.
Right, you can't
an opportunity.
You won't be able to see what's going on if you have no access to your phone or to the internet or to power. You're going to be stuck blind, and by the time you get back in the loop, the news cycle's moved on to something else. And I believe you're 100% correct that it is a test, that they want to see what they can get away with, and then they'll try to push it out to a broader area.
Right. Yeah, just everything that we see right now is a test for some program. I don't know if you guys are all aware of it, but President Trump activated the inactive and reserve status Marines, and it's entirely possible that was done in preparation for this suspension of this contract of the seaport, because apparently China has been moving soldiers in and moving equipment in through the seaport that they've had control of since Obama, and he has suspended that contract and eliminated them from being able to use it any further. So apparently Gavin Newsom told him, you can't be doing this in my state and you need to stay the hell out. I mean, that's a paraphrase. That's kind of what I've heard through a grapevine, but that might be a good reason for Marines to be activated, because if the whatever the private army is that's under the control of the Rothschilds, if they're entrenched, or if the Chinese are willing to bow up on behalf of California, then we need to have a countermeasure in place, and that might be what that's about. Let's see.
Well, that goes back to your it was a podcast, or not a podcast, a video that you did a while back about who really owns America, and you brought up the fact that China is basically going and building ports all over the world, And that's when I commented
Right.
that it's like a new version of the Chinese Great Wall, except it's in
Yeah, they call
terms
it.
of imports.
Yeah, they call it the Maritime Silk Highway.
Right.
It's their world domination plan through the control of the oceans and the seaports.
And that's exactly what has
Yeah.
allowed to transpire. Like you said, Obama allowed the fact that China owns anything within this country, that includes farmland. It's absurd that that was ever even allowed to happen, because other countries, you can't own stuff unless you're a citizen.
Right. Yeah, we're
But
the only country that gives ourselves away.
right, we're giving everything away, and people need to wake up. And like everybody's always chatting, Joe's always saying, other people are always saying, it starts at the lowest level. Start at your local city council. Start working from there. If people are against what we believe in, we got to stand up and start getting these people out. And I'm a perfect example,
Right.
because I am in a liberal wasteland. There are a lot of conservatives here, and I went on with Tony Patriot to let people know there are a lot of conservatives. There are people that are tired of what's going on here, but a lot of times conservatives won't speak up. They won't speak up and say what they actually feel. Well, as time is going forward, people say, well, man, people are so aggressive, they're so mean, they're saying what's on their mind. Well, when you push somebody long enough, or you mess with the dog long enough, eventually it's going to bite you. And now conservatives are biting back
That's
and
fact.
saying, we will not tolerate you guys pushing us around. We're not going to tolerate you taking our guns. We're not going to tolerate you telling us what we can and can't own. And that's what they want to do, because if they can control your ability to fight back, then you're a sheep. They're going to tell you what they want. They're going to show you what they want, and there's nothing you can do about it. But it's people like you, it's people like Joe, Tony, and all the other patriots in the chat room. It's people like us that need to stand up and let them know, we're here, we're not going down, we're going to take back what's ours. And if they don't like it, too bad, because you can bring your emotions and feelings, and we're going to bring thundersticks.
Yeah. Well, one thing to note about this power outage is I noticed that it's in the northern part, and some of this might have slipped other people's minds, but the northern part of California is pretty much a conservative stronghold. That's where that fire was that melted entire engine blocks at whatever that is, 2,600 degrees. Fires reaching temperatures that they're not capable of. So the whole thing had stink written all over it. But it just so happens that the power outage is in the same area where the conservatives are in the majority. So again, the whole thing has a smell to it that's pretty sour, and I don't trust what they're doing.
You're exactly
I was just
right.
talking about that, Belinda. Belinda just mentioned that Trump kicks the communist China Cisco out of the second largest seaport. We were just talking about it.
You're 100% correct about that, Alex. As far as Northern California, a lot of people believe it's real liberal. Well, around San Francisco and the surrounding counties, they are pretty liberal, but when you get past that, when you start going further north, they are very conservative up there. They believe in God, and that fire displaced a lot of people. The whole town of Paradise pretty much is gone, and a lot of those people were conservatives. They believed in the Second Amendment, and I believe you're right. I believe there's an agenda, there's a motive, and what they're wanting to do is displace conservatives. I recently saw a poll that said, I believe it was 70% of conservatives in California were contemplating leaving the state because of the state that it's in. That's their agenda. They want to drive everybody that's conservative, everybody that doesn't agree with their agenda. They want to push them out of the state. And that's why I always tell people, California's not pushing liberals out to other states. California's conservatives are fleeing because the ideology in this state, it's not conducive to being conservative. If you're a conservative, you believe in God, then you're the enemy of the people. So those are the people that are going to other states. And like I told Tony in his stream, liberalism is spreading across the United States in areas where it's starting to pop up more, where people are starting to see like, hey man, there's a lot of Californians that move here. No, what you're seeing is those people have always been there. It's just you didn't read the writing on the wall and now it's too late because they've already shifted the demographic to their ideology. And now people who are like, hey man, that's not what we're about, they're seeing it, but it's been going on for 30 plus years, and now people are starting to notice it. Well, they should have noticed it a long time ago, and now is the time we have to say, hey, here's the line in the sand. It's time to fight back.
Absolutely. I noticed another statement here by Rex Havoc, U.S. Navy. He said he heard from ham radio operators that California is shutting down repeater towers, saying that they are no longer needed. They want to shut down communications among the citizens, and that's true. That's why I think this power outage has a lot more of a nefarious act involved in it than just turning off the power.
Well, it's not just that, Alex. What's happening too is back in the days, like your ham operators, your people that listen on scanners to listen if there was emergency traffic coming out through law enforcement, firefighting, stuff like that. Well, they can't do that anymore because what's happened is law enforcement and first responders have gone to their radio waves are encrypted now. If you don't have the type of equipment that they have, you're not going to be able to hear what they're talking about. And they said they did that under the guise of confidentiality, because some of the information that goes over the airwaves is confidential information. So that's how they were able to pass that. When I was still working in law enforcement, the radios that we had, the abilities for these radios were amazing. It was amazing what you were able to do. And it was under like, oh, hey, if we have a natural disaster, we'll be able to communicate with each other. Because prior to them switching over to this digital encrypted radio system, I could be in one town and I couldn't talk to somebody from the local police department. If I worked for the sheriff, I couldn't talk to the police department over the radio. So now you can get everybody on the same frequency and they can all communicate freely, and they don't have to worry about anybody hearing what exactly is going on. And that's like
I
you
used
said,
to be a CB radio user. I had one of these CBs that had upper and lower frequency adjustments where I could go into the lower sideband frequencies and I could get into military channels and police scanners and all kinds of stuff. It is harder to do that now because of the digital coding that they put on it. You can't sneak up on a broadcast using your tuners.
No, you can't. Like before, like I said, you used to be able, because I remember being a kid, my uncle had scanning equipment and we would listen to different radio calls, people talking on phones. Those days are going away. And then you got to ask yourself, if you can't hear what's going on, they basically could be amassing a plan and nobody would be aware of what's going on until it's too late.
Yeah, that's absolutely a fact. And that's what they want. They want to be able to figure out how to do these things so that they can find us, so to speak, and get it done. They can't do a frontal assault on the Patriots. They don't stand a chance. So they have to take, it's like, how do you eat a dangerous dog? One small bite at a time, because you want to be able to bite them and then leave before they attack. And that's kind of what's going on with the Congress right now, with the cabal. They want to do this one little bite at a time, and then they can take out an entire monster that way. And they look at us Patriots as the monster that needs to be devoured.
Right, because we're not going to allow them to do what they want to do. Their globalist agenda is not going to be allowed with people like you, people like me. We're not going to sit by and say, oh, yeah, just enslave us and do whatever you want. We don't care. No. The biggest thing what they're doing right now is they're trying to flank us on all sides by using distraction tactics, propaganda, different things, disinformation. And to me, like you're always saying and everyone else is saying, YouTube is liberal. Google's liberal. Facebook's liberal. If you're conservative, they're going to silence you. And they're going to do whatever they can to keep your voice from reaching people, to let them know, hey, you need to open your eyes. I don't care what you believe. If you're not aware of what's going on, then you know what, when the crap hits the fan, then you have no one to blame but yourself. You should always do your own homework. That's why I really enjoy watching your chats on the VA and different things, because the level that you take people, your everyday person is not going to go there. They're not going to do the legwork that you're doing and be exposed to the things that you're sharing because most people don't care. Apathy is taking over and people don't care. They're more worried about likes and different nonsense on social media than they are about actually what's going on around them. And it's sad.
That is completely right. That's totally correct. People are in a fog, and they've been trained to be that way. That's why we have the smartphone, because they want people to have a 1 minute or less attention span, because it's much easier to distract somebody than the more they're distracted by their own activities, it's easier to distract them with something else. You know, it's all part of the plan. This has not been something they thought of in the last few days. This entire system was pretty much kicked off in 1913. At the same time, they brought in the Federal Reserve Act, which was jammed down the throat of the American people illegally, which has never been ratified. At the same time, they created the propaganda system so that they could use that to manipulate the people from that point forward to get them to believe that everything that they were doing was for the people. And once they got a good stronghold, it doesn't matter what the people think. You know, it's shut up and let me do my thing. And that's where we are right now. You guys just shut up and we're going to do our thing. You just stay down there in the village and leave us people in the castle alone.
You just spoke about everything that the Democrats are doing. That's California to a T. They're like, you guys don't matter. We do what we want. And there's a petition going around to get Gavin Newsom out of office. But like I said, it starts at the lowest level, that being your city council, your local. You guys got to get out there and you got to tell people, look, man, these people don't care about what it means to be American. They want to open the gates and let everybody in. The sad thing is there's a lot of things going on at the border that are not being reported at all.
That's going to change.
It will change, because what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start putting out content here in the next few days. And I'm going to put out stuff regarding border and border patrol actions that have been happening just within the last week. They've busted several large quantities of drugs coming in through the ports of entry. I'm talking in the millions, several hundred thousands, hundreds and hundreds of pounds of meth, fentanyl, heroin. A lot of times it's
Have
U.S.
you heard?
citizens.
Have you heard my example of what they're doing with that, with the port of entry drug seizures? Do you know what's going on with that?
As far as what, Alex?
Well, I did this on the 27-hour marathon with Douglas Ducote. I explained how when I went to school and learned about sales and marketing and business management, there's a program called a loss leader in retail. And the best example is like Black Friday. They will bring a product in. The product may cost them $100, but they're going to sell that product for $50. So they're going to take a $50 loss. That's called a loss leader. And the reason they do that is because they know that.
Now I know what you're talking about. They're letting drugs come in, letting those people get busted, and then letting other stuff. Basically, it's you send one as the victim. Like when you're a kid, you let someone go do something, you let them get caught while the rest of you get away.
That's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, that is going on.
They bust 100,000. They bust out $100,000 bust, and they think, oh my gosh, we really got a lot of drugs. Meanwhile, there's $1 million worth of drugs being shuffled in the other direction, while the entire the port is basically shut down while they're going through this truck, and all of the agents are busy. So of course they're going to be bringing in the other stuff elsewhere.
I think they're doing that. The stuff that you're talking about, like that tactic, I believe that's what they're doing with these large caravans, where they're sending 100, 200, 300 people at a time. They're getting all the agents in that sector busy. They have to go process them at a station, and while they're busy, that's when they're bringing stuff through the open areas, not through the port of entries. That's exactly what is going on, where it's like, hey, let's send a bunch of illegals. They get rounded up. They get taken to process it. They're going to be gone for anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. So we can move hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of product, millions, and nobody sees it because the people that are supposed to be watching are busy basically doing like secretarial work instead of doing what they're supposed to be doing.
That's exactly right.
It happens every day. Alex, my phone is about
You
to
know
die,
about
brother.
I appreciate you hanging out, man. It's been awesome. I hope to do it again sometime. You
Like I
know,
said, I
I'm sure you got
thoroughly
a lot
enjoy.
more you can tell us.
Oh man, I got stories for days, brother. And like I said, man, I wish my phone was fully charged. Um, it's ready. It's at 3%. I can't thank you enough for everything you do, brother. I thoroughly enjoy your shows. I'm always in there when I'm free. You'll see me in the chat room chatting you up. So, like I said, to all the patriots, stand strong, stand firm. Freedom's not free, but you know what? We're gonna do what we need to do, and we're gonna continue fighting.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, man. We'll catch you on the next one. I'll see you in the chat if your
All right,
phone makes it. Have a good
bless
night.
you. You too.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Well, that was pretty awesome. Got a chance to hear from the California critic. He's a good guy. I have seen him in my chat. He's got a lot going on. Set for getting the information out about our border. So I did enjoy that. I hope you guys did too. I'm going to put the link back up one more time, and if you want to come in and continue on from what we were discussing, or if you have another subject that you want to bring forward, whatever you want to talk about, I'm totally open. Let's see. Some scratches have shown up in my trunk, but it's... Colleen, I saw that you said something a minute ago. It brought my attention, but let me see. And by the way, welcome. Good to see you. History B, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Let's see. Thought I saw something. I was reading it, but now I can't remember what it was. It was probably extremely important. Yeah, pockets of Republicans, and they think they're afraid to show it. Well, I think so, to allow information like that to be exposed, because that puts them on their heels. Looks like we have Pete the Patriot, folks. He's joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Pete the Patriot. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm good. How you doing?
You look so blue.
Oh, yeah, I do, huh? I guess I should turn the light on.
I know I upset a lot of people, but good Lord, I didn't realize it would make you that blue.
How about that? Is that better?
That is outstanding.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we got Colleen that wants to come in. Let's go ahead and we'll do a double this time. I'm going to try. We won't do this beyond two at a time, two guests at a time, because it will get a little hectic. But Colleen, I've got you on the air. And Pete the Patriot's here with us too. So please tell me what's on your mind.
Oh my God. I didn't know I was going to do that.
I see a chandelier and it's quite nice. Oh, of course we can.
You. Isn't that pretty? Antique. How you guys doing?
Awesome.
Hello.
Very well, thank you.
It's good. Pete, you got your power up?
Pete the Patriot, this is Colleen.
Huh?
Hi. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's good. You got your power? Because it looks like a lot of people didn't. They're shooting up trucks there.
Yeah, I'm in Southern California.
Yeah, but it's still a big area.
Yeah, they're pretty much going after the north right now.
There are some fires down here in the Inland Empire.
Do you really think the fires are what it's about?
No, absolutely not.
No.
Me neither.
No, it's way more nefarious than that.
I left a comment in your chat there about.
Did you?
Yeah, what the problem is.
I was probably ignoring you, but that happens a lot.
I'm looking. This is my first time in this
you can't see her?
place.
Well, we see her forehead, and it's quite nice looking. If you tipped your phone down a little more, we'd be able to see your face.
Is that better?
Nope, I still see the chandelier in your forehead.
That's a nice chandelier, though.
Oh, why, thank you.
It is.
I don't know where you're looking at.
And the forehead's quite nice, too. So there's a little dot on your phone that will show as a camera. Are you on a phone or computer?
Oh, yeah, I'm on my phone. I see it up there. I see it. I have it laying on the
Okay,
table.
well, I saw your glasses. There you are. Oh, look at you. Now you're... You're
Now
quite
you-
sideways though. If you rotate your phone, you should be able to have your head in the right direction. Oh, the other direction. You're
Is that
upside down. I
right?
don't know how you're going to sit like that.
Huh?
Flip it all the way around 180 degrees.
Upside down, you mean?
One more flip, and you're almost there.
There you
Right there,
go.
right there. Oh, I got you. You're all the way in there now.
I can't see my picture.
That's awesome.
I can't see it.
Well, I assure you it looks great. We can see it from here. Welcome to the show.
You guys are lucky because I never ever let my picture be shown.
I'm honored.
Oh, we have this is a no judgment zone. We don't accept it. We won't tolerate. You're welcome. You're beautiful. You know,
Oh, well, thank
nothing
you.
but good things around here.
Well, thank you.
So what's on your mind?
Nothing. I just entered the chat and I ended up here. I thought I was just going to be reading,
Well, that's great.
but it's pretty cool.
Oh, well, yeah, it's amazing what we can do with technology nowadays. But this is what this channel's about. If you want to come in and tell us what's on your mind, you know, that's
No, the next
that's
time
what it's
I
about.
will. When I've got a lot to say, I will. Which I usually do.
Well,
have a lot
according to what
say.
you were writing, I know you've got some stuff balled up in you. You could definitely fire it off.
Oh, I do. I can get fired up, but I'm not fired up right now.
Okay. Well, what's on your mind, Pete?
Yeah, Pete, talk to me.
Well, you know, I think the hour and a half show that I did this morning, I just didn't get everything out. That was my.
But I came in at the tail end of that.
I know you did. I know you did. Does it seem to you, both of you, that this just seems a little bit too conveniently orchestrated?
The fire?
Yeah, it just seems conveniently orchestrated.
Well, you know, I had read somewhere that the UN was hiding out in California right now.
Oh, they're all over here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're in California, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Don't you
And
know?
they're supposed to be-
There's a bunch of places.
And there's supposed to be troops coming down from Washington, but I only read that in one spot.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, information like that gets buried pretty quickly. You have to dig pretty deep to find it.
Gavin Newsom, the illustrious governor of California,
You're
inherited.
so lucky.
Yeah, he inherited a horrendous mess from Jerry Brown. Jerry Brown mismanaged this state for his last term, completely 100%, to where there's no money left here. There is no money left here.
That's why they need disasters to
the
to
U.S.
make their money.
government, the federal government requires each state to have a certain amount of cash in their coffers that they cannot touch in order for them to get federal funding, and just for the specific reason for natural disasters. Well, that money here is depleted. Jerry Brown had to use.
Why can't they use the invisible train money?
Well, that's because what's her name's
that's
husband
already
has
gone.
that. Yeah, that money was
You realize
used
Gavin Newsom
to make
is
pension solving.
not. He's not a innocent victim in all this. He's
Gavin Newsom?
Nancy.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Yeah.
No, absolutely
like an
not.
idiot.
No. For no reason on God's green earth do you think I'm exonerating him from anything. He had his hand in this from the beginning, from when he was mayor.
I think
he
he's
had his
been
hand in
groomed
this.
for it.
He has been. He's being right now groomed for president. That's what
not
he's
gonna
being.
happen.
You'd be shocked. That's what he's being groomed for. He's being groomed for president. This whole California governorship is just a stepping stone for him to become president.
He has no more chance than Cuomo has.
Okay.
You mean Alfredo?
Yeah,
That's what I
Alfredo.
really do believe. Neither one of them.
But he right now doesn't
No,
have any liquid cash to pay for anything in California. And the president of the United States is refusing federal funds to California.
Close the sanctuary cities and you can have money.
Well, the whole thing with the homeless, he said, we're going to come in here and we're going to do the thing with the homeless. And Gavin Newsom said, no, just give us the $700 million like we asked for and we'll handle it. And the president said, no.
No.
Yeah, well, they
And then
also
all of a
sent
sudden-
the EPA in.
Well,
They sent the EPA into California, and they found that they've broken so many EPA laws that they're facing fines of
All of a sudden,
extraordinary
all this
magnitude
money,
for that all by
they,
itself.
if they create
yeah.
this disaster of all this power being out, all this money is just going to appear.
Well, don't you find it convenient that right
You guys
after
there?
the president said, no, we're not giving you the money to take care of the
Hello?
homeless problem. We will manage the money. We will find properties to put these
You
people
lost
in.
me.
All of a sudden, the power's going
Well,
out.
or
There's fires. There's this. There's that.
we
It's
still
just
got
too
you.
convenient. It's too convenient.
Well, now we lost her. Yeah, it's every time they need money in California, there's a well choreographed and orchestrated disaster. That sometimes they get out of hand, but they don't care because it's just the useless eaters that are involved with it. And as soon as Colleen comes back, we'll bring her back up in here. And she, for whatever reason, just fell out.
Also, he just signed a
Yeah,
bill.
it's just timing.
He just signed a bill to give over 180,000 undocumented people in California health care, full benefits.
Yeah,
So,
and that's
where is that money coming
unacceptable.
from? Where is that money coming from? You know, he didn't have enough money to clear the for the forestry service to do their job, which was a huge part of why the first fire happened. And it's just everything is just too convenient.
Right.
I don't know. That's just the way that
back.
that I see it.
Oh, I'm upside down.
Well, here's
No,
another.
you're right
Nope,
side up.
now you're upside down.
Now you're
Nope.
sideways.
Come on, a little bit more. Little more rotate.
Rotate one more time. Perfect.
And right there. Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, I'm upside down.
Okay, now. No, on here, you're definitely right side up. So the thing is, look at the power company itself. All of a sudden they're in bankruptcy, but they have enough money to pay their upper echelon a $10 million performance bonus and stuff like that. So money in itself is just nothing but an illusion. When they say, oh, we don't have money, it just means that they've given it to somebody else. And
You want to hear something funny? You want to hear something really funny?
Sure. I like funny.
I had stock, not much, about 40 shares of PG&E. I owned PG&E stock. After the wildfire in Paradise, which destroyed that entire city, and then they found out that it was their fault, their stock went up. This is verifiable. You can look at this. Their stock went up after they were accused of starting a fire that killed 90 people. And I sold their stock and I made a profit. Okay, but
that is really the information that came out to the public has nothing to do with the reality of the campfire.
No, absolutely not. But for what reason?
If people really want to know what happened there, they need to look up Project Bluebeam. I'm not going to get into that on here, but maybe that's something that should be looked at Fact Fiction and Beyond, the new collaboration channel with me and Pete the Patriot.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should go over that because there's a lot with that campfire that isn't reported and should be exposed. Some people have already done it, started on it, but too many questions. But I think that the PG&E was a prearranged fall guy for that fire, and they got their little bonuses for taking the hit because they're going to be protected from bankruptcy. They'll get bankruptcy protection and protection from lawsuits, so they probably agreed.
Yeah, so they follow right along where the alleged train was supposed to go.
Absolutely, 100%.
100%.
Like I said, you
work for the electric company, and so did my husband, even though we're back east. And that's what they said. This was all to clear the land, get the land at bargain basement prices.
I'll tell you what.
The people
go online and look up California's last fire season. Right? There's maps you can look up. We have fire seasons. Look up the last fire season that happened and follow the fire lines, and then superimpose that over it. And
hold on, just 1 second. The Freedom Isn't Free is saying that that Colleen is sideways.
I'm
on
upside
here,
down.
To me,
when
she
I'm
looks
looking
like
at
straight
it,
up.
Okay, what if I
yeah,
turn it now? Am I
let me
sideways?
just,
Ask him if I'm upside down there.
Now you're
Now.
sideways.
well, let me open up my my channel on YouTube and see what it looks like, because when we're
Yeah,
looking at you here on StreamYard, you were in good shape. Well, yeah,
Nope,
on
now.
YouTube it shows you upright
But on
too.
my phone, it shows me up right now on my phone.
Well, you're sideways right now.
Yes,
You're
she's
sideways
sideways.
right
How do I
now
look
to
everybody
us,
else?
but there's a delay on the YouTube.
Does this kind of stuff happen on CNN?
I think so. Yes, we are much better than CNN. See,
you ever
right
see-
now you are upright to us.
Do you ever
And
see
to me, I'm
Don
upside
Lemon
down
sideways?
on my head.
Now you
Well,
look good.
Don Lemon's sideways anyway. I mean,
Yeah,
that dude's off canter.
It's
She's good right now. Okay, Slate Rock. Good to see you. Glad you're here. All right. So, yeah. I mean, there's too many questions, not enough answers. We need to look at Project Bluebeam. We need to look at energy weapons. Look at the temperature it takes to melt an engine block into a soup. And
Now I
also
heard
the
you say
rims on
I
a
heard
car.
you say that. I heard you say that, and technically, that's possible, because most engine blocks nowadays are aluminum. Aluminum has a melting point of 600 degrees, so it's very possible that aluminum rims, aluminum engine blocks, things like that can melt. But then again,
Okay.
up in that area, you have a lot of older trucks, a lot of older cars that got iron engine blocks. That's still
Well, it was the aluminum that you could see pooled on the street.
Yeah, of course.
But,
600 degrees. Aluminum will melt at 600 degrees. You can, go out and do it in your backyard and make yourself a little furnace with a hair dryer and melt aluminum.
Were the fires always this prevalent
No,
as they've been the past couple of years?
no.
Yeah, they've been pretty hot and heavy.
Well, yeah,
they
not-
all seem to
past couple years
start
they've been
based
going
on their
crazy.
need of money.
They haven't been
Anytime they
pinpointed the
need
way that
money,
they
a
have.
natural disaster pops up.
They haven't been
now they're
pinpointed.
creating one, and they're going to get all these federal funding for all these people that are going to lose everything.
Well, also the fires were directed at conservative strongholds. I mean, they took out an entire conservative region of California in one fire, so that was just very convenient.
Oh yeah, because they're going to lose their food, they're going to lose everything.
If the president is going to give any federal funds, he should do it like he did to Jerry Brown. When Jerry Brown, they allocated funds to him when he was mismanaging this state so bad, is that they came in and paid the people directly from the federal government. The money was not given to the state of California, and the California people allocated it out. They actually cut the checks to certain people. So if he's any smart, he would do that again.
Major snowstorms, it comes directly to us.
Yeah.
Yes and no. Yeah,
well,
yes and no.
Freedom isn't free. Is on. He says he's not down with this. Take care of y'all. Have a good day. I'm not sure which part we hit that was uncomfortable, but definitely have a good day and appreciate you stopping by. For sure.
Okay, it was nice talking to you guys.
Oh, I wasn't kicking you off. I was just saying that Freedom Isn't Free was in the chat saying he's out. So
okay, see you,
saying goodbye to him. Appreciate him stopping by.
This time when I came back, I couldn't see. I couldn't see myself before.
Yeah.
Now is this up? Like,
we can.
So now you guys are running on 3, right? There's this one, there's the regular YouTube, and then there's the other link that we were clicking on yesterday.
Well, the StreamYard is what I used for my broadcasting. So that's the link you clicked to come on here.
Yeah.
Okay, but there was another one that I had to click for everybody. There was another one. I don't remember.
I'm not sure what that was.
Maybe somebody does. That they were having us all click on it yesterday. I don't remember what it was.
Mike H., welcome back. Saw you this afternoon. Good to have you back. Yeah, we were talking about Moonbeam Brown. Yeah, and his sister actually is the governor of Oregon, so they own the West Coast. And until the corruption can get removed. Yeah, you're saying Arizona is still saying Colleen is sideways.
Yeah.
She is most definitely sideways on YouTube. That is really bizarre.
Okay, so if I turn myself around on YouTube now, am I all right? Wait.
No.
Am I
Well,
upside down?
there's a
You're
delay on
sideways.
YouTube, so I have to wait for it to adjust. But I don't know. It's just very weird. I mean,
Yeah, I'm upside down for me. Or I mean, I'm right side up for me.
Yeah, you're sideways. I don't know.
okay.
I
Well,
have
right
no idea.
now I'm looking
Okay,
I'll
at
tell you
the
what. You know
eyes
what?
have it.
Go ahead
YouTube
and
shows.
Alice, go ahead and drop
Shows
me
are
out,
upright.
and then you guys can chat, and maybe
Okay.
it'll straighten her picture out.
What now?
Well, right now on YouTube, it's got her in the right direction. There's a
I don't-
delay on YouTube, so she's sideways to us, but she's upright on YouTube.
For everybody
It's
else.
really weird. Yeah, so I can handle looking at you sideways, but
I'm looking at
I don't
myself
know.
that's
upside
fine.
or
She
right
just
side. I'm looking at myself right
okay.
side.
Well, that's fine. Listen, you're good to go then. Let's leave it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, stop listening to the panel. They aren't watching. Let's be this way. I'm not sure what you mean, Freedom.
Yeah, I don't know.
Stop listening to the panel. They aren't watching. Let it be this way.
Well,
Well,
I'm not seeing what
I try to
anybody's
listen.
saying, so
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's fine.
Well,
But
I
all right.
really
Well,
need
I'm going to
screen
go
reader,
ahead
but I
and
can't.
let you guys. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and jump back in the chat, and I'm going to see if anybody else wants to come on for a few minutes. We've got.
outstanding.
I think we've done our first hour, so we've got a little bit of time, another hour left. But
So if I
anyway,
hop
so I
off this
appreciate you
and
guys coming by.
See
if
ya.
I hop off of this, I
I-
can hit the chat button and I can start conversing again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be back in the chat.
Okay, great.
All right,
Nice
you guys
talking
have
to all
a
you
great
guys.
day, and thanks for coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, you
bye-bye.
too. You have a
See
good
ya.
one. Bye now. See you later, Pete. All right, that was awesome. We had Colleen and Pete the Patriot hanging out for a little bit. So, if somebody else wants to jump in the chat, I'm putting the link back up right here. If you want to come in, you just hit that link, and we'll get you on in here. But interesting conversations tonight about California and the power outages and things like that. Let's see. Pete and Alex software allows them to rotate their chems. Okay. Okay, you gotta hang up, and then you'll be able to go back to the chat. So, all right. So hey, Fred, good to see you, buddy. I Bleed Americans here. Tim Clark, good to see you guys. Yeah, you're all right side up now. Good. So you else want to jump in here? Conservative Patriot, good to see you, brother. Welcome. This is a show about basically getting it off your mind if you want to get it off your mind. And we're talking about several subjects so far. So it's good information to get out. And all you got to do is make sure you have Chrome as your browser, and then you click the link underneath my name, and it'll bring you in. I just click the little button, it brings you up, your image will show, and we'll sit side by side and chat it up a little bit. So anybody else that wants to jump in here, just hit that link. Don't be shy, step right up. Yeah, Trump rally's coming on right after me, so I'm going to be checking that out. Freedom isn't free. Do you want to come in? Come chat it up? Because you and I would have a lot to say. A conversation. Type either if you want to do it that way. Ours will go black during any major crisis. Military and government will have communicate. That's why with this situation with these ham radio, basically the repeaters being turned off, it kind of reminds me of why I like having a CB as my backup, because I got a CB, I can plug some extra and I can blast. I can basically talk from Florida to California if I want to. Usually requires a little bit of amperage, but as long as I have a generator that can hold it up, I should be able to be in communication no matter what. But anyway, so I think the chat went screaming up above, so let's put it up one more time, see if anybody else wants to jump in here. Don't be shy. Anybody, come on in. That situation with Giuliani, his associates getting basically busted for campaign finance fraud. I think that's going to be the go-to thing right now with the Democrats to try to shut the conservatives up and to trip them up on their search for criminality. It's just kind of what I'm expecting, and we'll just have to see how it goes. But at this point, we kind of know that some of the firewalls are being taken down, and yeah, you need a huge linear for your CB. Yeah, I had one. I actually had a 5,000 watt that I had in my van, and I juiced it up one night and fried my entire wiring harness. It was really impressive, but I spent the next 4 days rebuilding my wiring harness one wire at a time and getting my van back up and running. But kind of frustrating at the time, I'm gonna tell you. But I put huge wires in it after that to handle my linear. I was sort of a new kid at that time, learning how things worked. I got a very expensive and very time-consuming piece of education. But I did, however, learn how to rewire a 1985 Dodge van, and it had all electric everything. So that was a good learning experience. Just laid the whole harness out in the driveway, pulled one wire at a time, fixed them. But I guess you don't want to do that much. So you want to make sure when you hook those things up, you've got the wires with the capability of handling it. I do have some new faces in here tonight, and I want to thank you guys for coming, because you guys can be doing anything you want. You're hanging out with me, and I appreciate that. Your father used to have one in his motorhome, fire up every once in a while on his CB radio when he was traveling. Yeah, it's funny because when you do that, especially when you're on the road, you crank that sucker up and key down that mic, and you come across in people's radios, and if they're in houses, you're scrambling their TVs or anything that basically has some speaker. You're all of a sudden casting on it. So, oh, she's back. Sandra got back in there. It was good talking to you. Nice to meet you too. Face with a name kind of thing. Yeah, I think Sandra came on earlier. She's been in here before. That's what it is. I'm confused. Never mind. I wonder what's in these things. Colleen was one we just had in here. After Smoking the Bandit, everybody got a CB. Well, yeah, but technically the CB craze was really what got Smoking the Bandit to take off so much. The CB craze was pretty much in the early 70s, and it blew all the way through the 70s into the early 80s. So everybody was wanting CBs so they could communicate with the truckers, breaker, good buddy, and all that stuff. Okay, Colleen is now back in the chat. Welcome back. Yes, CBs and cars, trucks, yeah, even people with motorcycles had them. So, yeah, it was. All right, well, there's that link. If you guys want to come in, if somebody wants to come in and take a chat, I'm going to see what else I had pulled up specifically. If you're coming right now, I'm looking at an article. I wouldn't be able to see it, but I'll be right back on it. But anyway, I wanted to go over the situation with Giuliani's associates. These are two people. They're foreign-born associates that are being hemmed up for campaign finance fraud, which I said is probably going to be the go-to attack for the Democrats to get rid of the people that are investigating them, because that just happens to be what these two were doing. I'm probably going to slaughter the names, but Lev Parnas, Igor Fruman, David Goria, and Andrei Kukashikin, Cook a Chicken, I guess would be the best way to say that one name. The defendants conspired to circumvent the federal laws against foreign influence by engaging in a scheme to funnel foreign money to candidates for federal and state office so that the defendants could pay potential influence with candidates' campaign and the candidates' governments. So, what's interesting about that is George Soros does the same thing. He actually has a program set up so that the people that do donations to the Democrats can write a check for the maximum donation, and then they can peddle cash on top of that donation, and it's an under the table type of campaign donation, and they figured out that they can do this, and they keep everybody's mouth shut about it because it's an illegal activity. So the people that do it would be potentially prosecuted. So everybody stays hush hush about it, and that's how they get more and more money into the Democrat coffers, which they're technically going broad. It's an underhanded scheme, and doing it for a long time. Now all of a sudden the Democrats go at people that are doing something similar because they are investigating corruption and collusion with, and they need to get rid of these people before they can expose them. I don't know how they're going to do that when this FISA comes out. I just really don't know, because like I said, I think this situation with California, this power outage, is a toe in the water. I think they're trying to see what people will do, and they've already seen that some people get pissed pretty quickly. They've had some of the workers shot at in work trucks, not workers. So the trucks have been shot at. They've had people getting yelled at, and the problem is it's not working. These people are victims of the it's the upper echelon of these companies that's doing this stuff, and the anger and aggression should be pointed in the right direction, and that's definitely not with the people that are 9 to 5ing it just to feed their family. They have nothing to do with it. And there's my co-host popping up for a second. Say hi. You want to say hi to everybody? Nope, wants to duck. Hide under the camera. Or man, CV. Yep, 10-4, good buddy. I used to know all my 10 codes right off the top of my head. Some police codes. So, but I guess the more I learn, to be squeezed out in order to make room for the new stuff. So I forgot a lot of the codes anyway. I could probably remember looking at them, because it's kind of like playing an instrument. If you put it down for a while, it doesn't take you very long back again. Well, there's that link again underneath my name. If you want to come in, chat it up. I've pretty much what I was interested in talking about. Also, I brought up the presidential impeachment, but nothing that's going on right now qualifies. And some people say that some people say that Nixon was impeached, and that's not correct. He was. They wrote up articles of impeachment. They ran the vote through the House, but he resigned before he was impeached. And just because you get impeached doesn't mean anything happens to you except for a bad. Don't do it again. That's bad. Like Bill Clinton. He pretty much broke the law. He got caught doing it. He was impeached, and Democrats rallied around him, and it still takes 2/3 vote of both houses in order to have the person removed, and they just wouldn't do it, because the reality is the crimes that have been the criminal cabal and the left-wing liberals and the Democrats on a very long time. Knights Armory, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, welcome to the show. This is a it's a come-in show. If you want to jump in here, I've got the link, and if you want to come in and just say, hey, you want to come in and talk about events that are going on, you want to come in and tell me I'm funny looking and that my mother dresses me funny or whatever, it's an open show. It's not a call-in, it's a come-in. If you want to come in, you just make sure you got Firefox or Chrome on your browser, and then you hit that link underneath my name, and you'll be right here sitting next to me on the screen. We'll chat it up, see what's going on. Beach 45. Yeah, I didn't know Maxine was here, but yeah, that woman's she's knucking butts. I tell you that. She's a weird one, but all of the crimes in California are starting to swirl around those people, and they're starting to get really, really nervous. So, anyway, if honestly, if nobody wants to come in and chat it up for a little bit, I don't really need to keep taking up the airways. I might be able to give a little more time to come on and do their time slot. But just tell in the chat if you think doing this for an hour on Thursday, or 2 hours, an hour, give me 2 hours. And let me know if you want something like this to keep going or go a little longer, or you think doing a 1 hour is good enough and it gets monotonous. Just put your vote in the chat, folks. An hour, obviously, number 1. 2 hours, number 2. Florida Jim's back with us. Good to see you, brother. Noon. Yeah, this afternoon I sort of did a pilot of this program to see what people thought of it. It seemed like people were in favor of it. Margot Dahlgren. That's an interesting last name. Welcome to the chat. So what are you up to, Mr. Knight's Armory? All right, somebody got in there. Oh, look, it's me. Hey, me, how are you?
What's up, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, Knight's Armory, Big Jim.
This is weird.
Oh, your vomit cam. I'm about to go because you keep moving me so much. Oh, I see in your ear.
I'm going to flip you over. There you go. Maybe that's a little better.
Oh.
That works. What's happening?
Okay.
What have I missed? Yeah, I know it.
We've been talking about anything and everything.
Yeah, that's always fun. Well, I am cooking.
What you got going in your life?
None.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's going to be very difficult while I'm on here with you, but I figure I'd try it for a second.
Well, you have skills that few have the ability to match, so that helps a lot.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. I do it every so often.
Well, what you need is one of those clamping tripods.
Oh, I got one of those. Hold on. Oh, there you go.
Then you can do everything hands-free.
It's in my truck. One of them is.
Oh. Unprepared.
No. Well, you looked like you needed somebody to come on there, and I started feeling bad for you, and I was like, well, let me jump in here real quick. So
this was a sympathy connect.
That's exactly what it was. That's what I do.
Well, good. My age says stick to an hour. Yeah, I'm starting to think it's a lot at 6 o'clock, and I was in the Army. Freedom, very appreciate you, man. Yeah, I was in the Army. So what time are we eating, Jim? Do I have time to make it over there?
You probably could. There will be leftovers. I'm making a bunch.
Oh, slow cooker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that so many people in the chat are surprised we're cooking. You did what now?
I said go ahead with your show. Just forget that I'm here. That'll work.
Yeah, I just barely noticed you as it is.
Yeah, we need to do that in my live show like we did again the other night. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was kind of neat. Yeah, it was a chance to cut loose a little bit because it doesn't all have to be structured and formal. Let's see. You can't.
This is nowhere near as
they
fun
call
as
me.
Watching you talk.
Oh well, I'm sorry that disappoints you, but they call me the Midwest Mudland of Lincoln, and I just got done break. Well, yeah, well, that's a good CB call. Yeah, we're talking CBs, we're talking power, talking about corruption, of good top subjects that are going through the media right now. You know what we haven't discussed though is knife making. So you might know a little bit about that, and you know you could tell everybody about what you do.
Man, I have not discussed knife making in a little while. I've been being lazy. It's too hot in my shop, so yeah, I've not.
Yeah, it seems like
still
it's
gotta work
late
on
to cool
DM
down
and
right now.
Yeah, it's not very much fun whenever it's that hot out there, so I've just been kind of avoiding it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I do. Most of the people probably know me in here. But yeah, I make knives. They're not very good usually, but I like them.
Well, that's your opinion. I think that chef knife you made for your neighbor was awesome. That little notch that you cut in there for the finger, that was such a comfortable knife. I could see myself cutting veggies all night with that.
Actually, yeah, I think that one you got to see that one firsthand, didn't you? Was I working on that one when you came over?
Yeah, you were finishing it up, so I really got to feel it as it was done. But you had that area right in the back of the blade that was cut out for the knuckle of the index finger, and that just made for a real comfortable grip. Felt solid. Didn't feel like it was going to slip.
Yeah, no, that thing turned out pretty good. I was happy with that one.
Margot Dahlgren says, "Wish I could send you some cool weather. We're in a blizzard right now.
Oh, wow.
Love you and appreciate you, but no, thank you. I'm allergic to blizzards. They make me break out."
Yeah, I don't think we wanted that cold here.
No. Cold and me, we just don't get along. I can handle cool, but I can't handle cold.
Today felt kind of nice up here in Jacksonville. It was 81 degrees, so almost sweater weather.
Yeah, it didn't get down that cool here. We're still up in the high 80s, low 90s during the day. So over here on the other side, we take a little longer. I think it bleeds over from Alabama, and we get their leftovers. So it takes a little longer for us to cool off.
Yeah, it was nice. I like it whenever it gets down to the low 80s.
Yeah. What is that? Did you just throw the phone?
I think I'm going to get off of here so that I can focus on this with two hands. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me, I think. I'm going to go back and just have you running in my kitchen with me here.
Yeah, running in the background.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you jumping in to say, hey, for sure. I always like talking to my fellow patriots. Talk to you later.
Amen. Bye, brother. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Knight's Armory, ladies and gentlemen. That was kind of nice for him to jump in here. All right. Well, we're almost at an hour and a half, and based on the response, I mean, I've been looking at my chat as much as I can. I'm trying to keep an eye on my guests when they're speaking too, because don't want to be rude that way. But I always go back and look at my chat. So if you ask me a question and I missed it, I will catch it. So if you have anything that you want to say to me directly, you can email me. My email is below all of my videos. And just wanted to make sure that you guys know that I'm grateful for you visiting. My mods, you always do a great job keeping everything in order, and appreciate all my guests visiting. If you guys are interested, we have a sub drive coming up next week. We're going to be doing a live promo on Monday night on History Beast channel at 8 o'clock Eastern, and there's going to be 10 of us on there, and we will be begging you for support of subscribers. If you know people that would be interested in subscribing to our content, or like what they have to hear, then that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to 1,000 before the new year, because the rules on YouTube will change. They're going to put more restrictions on content creators that are below 1,000. We'll be grandfathered in, apparently, if we can get to the 1,000 before the new year. And if we can't, then we'll have to have 4,000, and the view count changes, and they're going to change. So We are definitely this group of people up over 1,000 before the new year, so we can keep bringing you the information that we have and keep bringing the content. Let's see. Oh, everybody's talking cold weather. Ugh. I mean, I like cool weather, but me and cold don't get along. But anyway, with that all being said, I appreciate you all coming out, hanging out with me for an hour, and I hope you return again. I will be back here on Sunday night with Belinda for inside Veterans Affairs, if I can spit it out. That's at 6 o'clock my time, Central, 7 o'clock Eastern, and we will both be there again. But anyway, until next time, y'all, make sure you stay in the fight.